Now, every Friday, thousands of European high school students have been protesting climate change by skipping class and hitting the streets. This Friday, classrooms set to empty from Berlin to Boston, London to Lagos, and Dhaka to Durban. The global youth climate strike comes after the world saw record levels of carbon dioxide emissions in 2017 and again last year. One of the organizers and key figures here in France is student Hugo Viel. He joins us on the set to speak more about this global youth climate strike. Thank you very much for coming in to France 24.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us, first of all, how you got involved in this strike.
Well, I'm involved in the fight against climate change since like 3 years, and it was an evidence to be here and to be involved in the march and in the
how old
strikes.
are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20, and so you've been an activist since you were...
Several years.
Right, and
Yeah.
did you always have this sort of like politically active consciousness? Was this something you discovered later?
Well, it's interesting. I feel it. I feel we have to do something because we are in a situation of emergency, and we need to act on this situation of fighting climate change and protecting the environment. And yes, we have to do it. So let's do it.
Now, tell me about the situation in France, because the movement arrived in France a little bit later than we've seen in other European countries. Why is that? Is there something particular about France? Are people more skeptical? What is it?
No, people are not more skeptical. But in France, we have a climate of social issues with Gilets jaunes and so on. And so yes, it came a bit later than other countries like Belgium or Switzerland or Sweden. But today we are a lot in the streets of Paris, in the streets of every city in France. And yes, we're here to raise our voices and to say, yes, we need to act, and we're here today.
We need to act, that's the common refrain, asking the governments to do more. You mentioned Belgium there. The Belgian environment minister had said one of the problems about fighting climate change was raising taxes because they didn't want to have Gilets jaunes protests like they have here in France. Is this climate movement against the Gilets jaunes, I mean, can the two coalesce?
It's absolutely not different. Like climate justice and social justice are really close, are really connected, and we're fighting against climate change, but we're certainly fighting for a common future and for a just society and the society we want as young people around the world. We don't have the same values that the generation before us, and so we need to create the world we want to live in. No?
What could be a solution? So the Gilets jaunes are against a rising fuel taxes that Emmanuel Macron had hoped would help fight climate change. So short of raising fuel taxes, what would you like to see proposed?
Okay, but about the carbon tax. What the problem was that the carbon tax was against the people that have the less money, I would say, and people that have to use cars every day. And the money raised by these taxes are not used to go into the ecological transition. So that was the main problem here. So people are, there was a survey last week, I think, where people were saying that social justice and climate justice are totally compatible, and it's not something to oppose. So yes, we have a lot of solutions, and we need to use that solution to go forward.
And today, you're obviously hoping for a milestone. Tell us what's planned here in Paris.
So in Paris, we'll meet in Panthéon at 1, and then we're going to have a march to Invalides. And in Invalides, there will be a gathering when people can debate, can talk, and can meet, because it's really important to discuss and to talk about what can we do here as young people, and how can we advocate for our future.
Now, this is just one of many events planned worldwide. Tell us about, is there a goal for how many people turn out and how many events are planned worldwide?
I don't know how many people there will be, but it's really amazing. I was seeing the reportage, and it's amazing to see how many people are going to go strike to strike today, and it's amazing to see that it's all over the world because it's an issue that we have to tackle worldwide. So yes, it's amazing to see from Japan to Paris to New York, in India, and every youth citizen of the world are really in the street today to tackle this issue.
Yeah, more than 100 countries, 1,000 events really planned across the world. Tell me about this. We're talking about your generation. One of the common refrains we heard in France is that when you're speaking to the older generation, they'll be dead when it's 2050. And it's kind of this idea, this impetus to say we have to act now to save the future for your generation. Previous generations, there is skepticism about climate change. Is there also for your generation when you're at school? Do you hear people denying it?
Actually, I don't, because to me personally, I was born with the world of climate change, with the world of pollution. And so this is really not natural, but this is something that I've lived in since I'm born. So I can say that in my generation, we don't know about this, that it's not true. And compared to the precedent generation, yes, not every people are aware of what's happening, and there is a big trouble, a big problem of sensibilization, of knowledge, because people just don't know. It's not that they don't want to believe, they don't know. So there is a big exercise to do on that, on how to make people aware of what's happening and of what is climate change.
And real quickly, we know we had this big climate summit coming up in September. There's also the One Planet Summit this weekend in Kenya. French President Emmanuel Macron is there. Real quickly, do you think the French government has a political will to make the changes you want to see?
Well, it has the power to make this change happen. Emmanuel Macron said yesterday, we need less words and more acts. Just act, because it's this time again it's just words that it's saying. So he's a champion of the earth. So, but I really don't know why. So it's an opportunity for France to take the lead on this issue and to be one of the countries that are really tackling this issue. And they should be proud that a lot of young citizens here in Paris, here in other cities in France, are striking today, because it's just the society we want to live in, that we want to build, and they have to help us to do that. So I hope that we will be heard, because we send an invitation to debate to the President Macron, and he still haven't responded. So we're waiting for an answer.
Food for thought. Maybe he needs to follow his own advice. A little less talk, a lot more action, right? Hugo Viel, thank you very much. Good luck to you with your strike today.